Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special post-holiday episode. We are nestled right in between Christmas and New Year's, which means terrible bowls abound. But there is one that we have a vested interest in, and that is because an SEC team is playing, and it's playing as we speak. Vanderbilt trails Baylor by 10. I don't know. I don't know where we're at in the game. How much time is left?
Minute 25 in the third.
Okay, so
Vandy's about to score. So
there's just over a quarter to go, and it opens up a can of worms for us to digest. And I think that's going to be our first segment today. We're kind of shooting from the hip. We don't really have an outline even of what we want to do, but we will be kind of shooting from the hip. And I want to talk to y'all about the implications here. What is the implication for Baylor competing so valiantly with an SEC team with the same record? And I don't know where the game is taking place, but it's a neutral site, and Baylor is holding their own and even winning this game, and currently by 2 scores. So what does that say about the
implications?
12? Yeah.
Well, I've been saying all along that I think the Big 12 is the second best conference. And a lot of people don't agree with me because they don't play defense, but they've got a lot of great offensive teams. Like as Rob has said one time, they've got a lot of great half teams.
Yeah, that's true.
They do.
I don't know that I would say the second best conference.
I would say it, man, because who else are you going to say? You're not going to say the ACC because they're garbage.
No,
You're
the
not going to say
is terrible. Yeah,
the ACC is terrible.
But the Big Ten is terrible.
The Big Ten's terrible. Yeah. So
No.
you've got the Pac, you've got Pac, and you've got Big 12.
Ohio State wins the Big 12 this year. If Oklahoma and Ohio State switch, Ohio State wins the Big 12.
No,
that happens.
OU's better than no.
And Penn State wins the Big 12 if Oklahoma and Penn State were to switch.
OU doesn't get blown out by Purdue. I'm sorry.
That doesn't matter. We're talking about winning conference.
No, I'm saying you can't be that. You can't have that bad of a showing and be that good. I'm sorry. Like Nick Saban doesn't do that.
You're right.
LSU did it last year, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you're right. Nick Saban just comes to Alabama and loses to ULM.
Yeah. Well, in his first year, yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a bad day.
Not an established coach like Urban Meyer. He should not be dropping those games. You got to admit that.
The loss is excusable, but everybody has a bad day. And it's not fair to judge a team by one loss any more than it is to judge them by one win.
Okay, but how would you make the argument that I'm assuming that you're saying the Big 12 is the second best conference? Ashton, what would your argument be for them being the second best conference other than downplaying the Big 12? What is I mean?
Okay, so just to clarify, I'm saying the Big 10 is the second best conference.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If
okay.
You're
said the Big 12.
Other than downplaying the Big 12, okay. What is your reason for saying the Big 10 is the second best in their own right? Does that make sense?
Actually, I have 3 reasons, and those reasons are Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. Those 3 teams win the other 3 conferences if you take Clemson and Oklahoma out of the picture. So if you switched Oklahoma and Ohio State, Oklahoma might win the Big 10, maybe, but Ohio State is definitely going to win the Big 12. If you switch Penn State and Oklahoma, I say Penn State definitely wins the Big 12, and Oklahoma maybe again wins the Big 10. If you switched Clemson and Ohio State definitely wins the ACC. If you switch Washington and Ohio State definitely wins the Pac-12. And I think that's the case with the other 2 teams as well. If Michigan is a Pac-12 team this year, they're a conference champion.
Well, okay, so I think it's a little bit different with talking about switching Ohio State to the ACC and switching Ohio State to the Big 12. Reason being, this year, I think the ACC is garbage other than Clemson.
Sure.
So you could make the argument for the Big 10 teams that you just named being Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State in there. Now with the Big 12, I don't know that – I'm not saying that you're wrong, but at the same time, I don't know that you could definitely, without a doubt, say that Ohio State would win the Big 12 just because I don't think that Ohio State is so good that it would be like a definite – I think they would have a strong shot at winning it, but I don't think their defense is very strong. So it'd be kind of up in the air. Just huh?
I said Oklahoma's defense isn't strong either.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. So you're comparing the two offenses.
Well, I'm comparing the two teams, and I think Ohio State's defense is slightly better than Oklahoma's. But
they have no offense.
Ohio State?
They do have offense, but
compared to the Big 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
No way. Just because they can run an offense against Big 10 teams does not mean they have an offense.
Oklahoma only runs offense against Big 12 teams.
Okay, look. Oklahoma has an offense that will transit. You're right. And my thing about the Big 12, though, I think the Big 12 has more parity than the Big 10 does. The Big 10 has they've got some bottom feeding teams that are just garbage. I mean, like Rutgers.
That's fair.
And yeah, I mean, and so like the Big 12, anybody can compete against anybody. I mean, you've seen people like Oklahoma State, who's garbage this year, and
to his point though,
beating Oklahoma. And what I'm saying is not that Oklahoma's a bad team. I'm saying that the Big 12 has one top team, and that's Oklahoma and maybe West Virginia, right? West Virginia is like a half, so they have 1.5 top teams. West Virginia is really hot and cold. When they're on, they're tough to beat, but when they're off, they're just a run-of-the-mill team. But the Big Ten has 3 of those teams that could compete in virtually any conference but the SEC, right? And that's my argument for the Big Ten being better than the Big 12. It's not about Oklahoma per se. It's about the other teams. And I think that if you look at the second and third best team in the Big 12, if you look at Texas and who's the third best, Oklahoma State. I don't think
West Virginia is the second, and probably Texas is the third.
Okay, but I don't think that Texas and West Virginia beat Penn State and Michigan both.
I think they absolutely beat. Penn State they will definitely beat Penn State. Penn State is so overrated, man. Like, just because they did really well against Ohio State, that doesn't mean anything because Ohio State really is not that great. They beat the crap out of Michigan at the end of the year because Michigan has this number 1 rated defense. But, I mean, when you're not facing any offenses, like, you're going to be the number 1 rated defense because they haven't faced anybody.
So,
but based on what? Like, Ohio State's not that good a team based on what?
I'm going to go to the same argument, man. Based on the way they played against garbage teams and almost lost to them, like Nebraska. And who else was it that they almost lost to that was garbage?
Minnesota, right? Wasn't it Minnesota?
Maryland. Three teams with
Maryland, which beat Texas.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, the first game of the year when Texas wasn't quite back yet.
All right. So I think
and I hate Texas. Y'all know that.
We got off the main question here is how it affects if Baylor beats Vanderbilt. How does that does it make a difference? Like, we kind of got off on a tangent.
That is true. So I want to look at where Baylor stands in the Big 12. Can somebody look at where Vanderbilt finished in the SEC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Baylor was tied for 5th in the Big 12, so right in the middle.
Okay, so they're middle of the pack, Big 12 team.
Yeah, and Vandy was 6th in the East. They were 3-5 in the SEC.
But how are they?
6th in the East means at most 12th. Highest rank is 12 in the SEC.
Yeah. Yes, highest rank.
Okay.
Let's see.
So who are they ranked above? Tennessee?
Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. Well, yeah, Tennessee in the East. Yeah. But as far as record goes, they're ranked over Ole Miss and Arkansas.
Okay, so the team that finished, we'll say 12. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. The team that finished 12 in the SEC is competing with a middle of the pack Big 12 team.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Vanderbilt was 3-5 in conference. Tennessee was 2-6. Arkansas 0-8. Ole Miss 1-7. So they were tied with Auburn at 3-5.
Auburn had a better overall record though.
Correct, they did,
Yeah.
but that's
And
irrelevant
Auburn plays.
to SEC.
I'm looking forward to that game.
Well, they beat Washington, so I think that is a relevant game.
Yeah.
No. I said it's irrelevant. The overall records are relevant to SEC
To where they
finish.
finished in the
Yeah.
Right.
The only time that matters is it's like a second
like
or
a
third
tiebreaker.
qualifier, I think.
It's a tiebreaker.
I think yeah, but I think it's like second or third tiebreaker. It's not even the first tiebreaker. So.
Yeah, the first tiebreaker is a head-to-head.
Head-to-head.
And then the second would be
East-West.
Yeah.
Like your
divisional
record. And then I think there's one more before. But anyway, so, I mean, they finished ahead of 3 teams and tied with the 4. So, really, they tied for, 10th place?
11th or 12th.
No, they finished above 3 teams, and they tied with Auburn. So, that would tie.
Yeah, so they'd be 10th or 11th, yeah.
Okay. So, who did Baylor beat in the
the other thing is the Big 12 doesn't have as many teams as us, so you got to look at that too. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
We've got 14.
No, that's fair. But who did Baylor beat?
Texas Tech.
Okay.
Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Kansas State. Kansas. And then
Solid
a couple of
solid.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State, they ended up 6-6, I think.
Right.
And I think Texas Tech might have I think they were 5-7.
Okay.
But they actually beat a winning team, and I don't think they did.
Okay, but because single games matter so much, then let's consider that Vanderbilt competed and took to the wire Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like that game came down to like 1 or 2 drives at the end of the game, and it was a nail biter, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a team that finished 12th in the SEC, competing with a team who's in now the college football playoff and is set to lose to Clemson. So we're like, this is a big deal, right? Vanderbilt may not have beat a winning team, maybe not, but that in itself is worth something.
Mm-hmm.
They did what Michigan, they got as close as Michigan did to beating them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been saying all year that Vandy competing against Notre Dame is a legit deal because, I mean, and that's why I keep saying how weak Notre Dame is because of the way they play against weaker competition. And Vandy's not the only subpar team that they played that they went down to the wire. I mean, like Ball State, they beat them by 1 score. Yeah, it was like 4 teams that they like barely beat that were all losing. They all had losing records. I'm like, okay, so
that's fair. So then would you say that Ohio State is a better team than Notre Dame?
Than Notre Dame?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't play. Well, they do play some of the common opponents, don't they? Notre Dame plays like Michigan State, I believe, and Michigan, obviously.
Yeah.
I would say Ohio State is better than Notre Dame.
So then they deserve to spot in the college football playoff.
Over Notre Dame? Yeah. I would say UCF deserved a spot over Notre Dame, but I'm throwing that out there.
Whoa. I want to hear your reasoning. Is it because Notre Dame isn't in a conference?
UCF hasn't played anybody. I get that, but neither has Notre Dame, other than Michigan.
They didn't play Michigan, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Notre Dame played
right.
Michigan.
They did.
Okay. Wait. Let's not throw that game out. Like that's a big deal. Playing Michigan's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So.
And they beat Michigan.
On the face of it, just the fact that they play Michigan makes them more worthy of the college football playoff than UCF.
Yeah, but they haven't, lost a game in 2 years, and that's been your argument for all year long that you think UCF deserves a shot because they haven't lost a game in 2 years. I think you're basically rewarding them for two years worth of bodies of work of them getting which I don't think they deserve to go last year, and I don't think they deserve to go this year. I'm just saying I would give it to them before I would give it to Notre Dame because, I mean, yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. And this is why I've argued for an expansion for the playoff, because UCF really hasn't lost a game in 2 years, and they basically have nothing to show for it. Like there's no compensation. It's just, all right, a pat on the head. You get to play this.
Well, hold on, though.
You couldn't win their conference in the SEC for some bowl that nobody's going to remember the name of.
Here's my deal. They hadn't played anybody, right? Well, Florida just offered them a great deal to play a quality opponent in an SEC team, and they pretty much have already closed the door on it. So, to me, I give them no respect because they're going to sit there and play the political system and the Me Too. Sorry, no offense, but like they're going to claim victim. They're going to claim victim because they win playing S&P whatever 5,000 and no one cares. They don't play anyone. They had the opportunity to schedule someone finally. You know, say what you want about their conference, that it's not their choice. You know, they can't help it. They haven't had a chance to, because games are scheduled in advance, to schedule, you know, teams. But a team literally just threw out an offer, and because it was a 2-1, they didn't want it.
Okay, but let's discuss that a little bit. The 2-1 deal, that's a legitimate gripe. Like they're not,
though. Florida is not going to take someone seriously that they've like a team that most people think is a joke, and go on the road and play them 1-1. They're lucky to get a 1-1. Most teams would say just come play us one game at home.
Yeah, but the fact that it's not even a possibility to get a home-and-home series is kind of ridiculous. I mean, this is UCF and Florida, which are becoming quickly the two highest market teams in Florida, right? Because Florida State sucks. And Miami got trounced tonight. So the two highest market teams in Florida are increasingly Florida and UCF. And Florida's policy says, nope, we're never going to do a home-and-home series with you. That will never happen. You're literally a second-rate opponent. So I get them refusing that contract because it's like, no, you're just slapping us in the face here, right? And I agree with you. I agree with you that they should have accepted the deal, right? They should have, because that adds legitimacy to their schedule. That adds legitimacy to their team. But on the flip side, I can understand not wanting to be viewed as a little brother, right? I get that too. And drawing the short straw just because of what conference you play in. I see both sides of it, right? So I'm not gonna demonize the team for refusing the contract, even though I think it was the wrong decision.
Well, okay, but on the flip side of that, you've got the argument that, you know, they don't want to be viewed as second rate. Well, the whole point is to prove that. So if you play them a 2-1 and say you beat them even 1 out of 3 years, let's just throw out a hypothetical. Okay, well then what happens is you start to get some respect, and then teams start to view you. You get that 1-1. You know, you start to get respect, but you've got to earn respect. It's like, and with anything else, you go into a job, you don't just automatically in a workplace, you just get this great job. You got to start, you know, in one area, and you got to prove that you're worth it.
Okay, I agree. I agree there, but that's not what this is about. Respect isn't what this is about. It's about the fact that they're in this conference. Like, Florida's policies literally state we cannot ever at any point have a home-and-home series with you because you're in a non-Power 5 conference. So because of that, it doesn't matter if you win all 3 games. We will never schedule a home-and-home series.
Okay, well then I'll agree with you on that the policy is messed up.
Right, and that's what UCF is protesting.
Okay, well then I didn't realize that was so. But
yeah,
I'm just saying that if I'm Florida, I'm not scheduling a home-and-home with them right now. 2-1's the best they're going to get right now.
And I get that completely.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I agree with you that UCF should have taken the deal, right?
Right.
I agree with that. But on the flip side, Florida's policies are ridiculous, and the two highest market teams in Florida ought to be able to schedule home and home games, right?
That's
They
fair.
ought to be able to schedule
Yeah.
a series that's going to bring money into the state of Florida, right? Because, I mean, I live in Louisiana, and I would be willing almost to drive to see that game because it would be fun, right?
Uh-huh.
Maybe UCF isn't as good as Florida. Maybe they're not, but it would still be fun to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True.
I think Vanderbilt might have just gotten an interception.
In the end zone.
No. Oh. Yeah,
They're-
they did. That's
They're
a catch.
reviewing.
Yeah.
I don't
Catch.
know if it hit the ground when it went between his legs, though.
It hit his leg.
No, it hit his leg and never touched the ground. That's an interception.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what Vanderbilt needed. That's it.
Yep. In the end zone, man. That's amazing.
Here's what gets me.
3-point game.
Did y'all? So I know you didn't, Ashton, but JB, did you see in the first half? Like they were putting no pressure
missed.
on Schumer. I didn't see much of it. I just saw the last drive, but they were like not even getting like putting pressure on him, and he was acting like he was getting like all kinds of pressure. He was just flustered.
You're talking about the
could've
Baylor quarterback or the Vanderbilt quarterback?
Vanderbilt Schumer, he was getting flustered over nothing and running out of the pocket when he could have just stayed in the pocket and made a pass.
Because I'm not seeing Vanderbilt's front seven get any pressure either. Like I've been watching this drive and they've been getting dominated off the line of scrimmage. I think the offensive are dominating today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What I'm just saying, like Schumer is usually he usually does pretty good. Vanderbilt's quarterback,
right?
You know, despite Vanderbilt not being that great, he's a good quarterback, and so to see him under not much pressure, kind of folding is odd.
Well, I think that goes to the big stage that he's on. I mean, this is as big a stage as Vanderbilt could have had, and so I think that maybe that's jitters.
Could be.
I know that happens. I don't know necessarily that that's what's happening, but Vanderbilt, the call was confirmed, or the play stood. I don't know what the exact call was. I think it was confirmed. Vanderbilt ball on the 20-yard line.
It is Vanderbilt ball.
Wow. Anchor down.
Man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, anchor down. Okay, just side note. I know I say this a lot, but Vanderbilt has the coolest helmets in NCAA football.
Oh my gosh! Did they just score?
No.
I don't know. I might be a little bit.
Okay, you're killing me, man. Because if they did, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to.
Y'all watching this on Watching ESPN? Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Do I need to rewind? Do I need to rewind it to be on the same level?
Go back about 10 seconds, man. Okay, there's the.
But you're ahead of me. How are you ahead of me?
I don't know, man. I'm refreshing and doing all.
Rob, watch ESPN.
Rob, you should be ahead of all of us because you're in the future.
Oh my gosh!
Yep, that's a touchdown.
That is a touchdown.
Live game casting, guys. Y'all, we should just start calling the Vandy game.
That is awesome. The number 12 team in the SEC is doing this to a middle of the pack Big 12 team.
Yeah.
So even if I grant your argument, JB, even if I say the Big 12 is the second best conference in football this season, even if I say that, the bottom of the SEC is better or as good as the middle of the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
You've been what?
No, I've been saying that for a long time, man. Last year, Vandy beat K-State, and K-State was like a mid to upper level Big 12 team last year.
I remember that happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal.
That was a lot of fun. Did that just flash across the screen and say that running back has 221 yards on 11 carries?
No, that's not a touchdown.
Now is he out of
touchdown? His hand got out of bounds before. He may have stepped out of bounds, but at the pylon, his hand went down. The ball didn't go over the plane. He's down at the.
even
Should
if
be down at the half yard line.
Regardless, man, it's regardless. They're going to
Yeah.
score.
we're still talking about 220 yards on 11 carries. I would love to average, what is that, 20 yards a carry?
I don't know, something crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's unbelievable, man.
That's a typical day in the Big 12, though, right?
A typical day in the Big 12. You're right. And the Vanderbilt looks like Oklahoma right now, and that's a fake. Gosh, what a fake mask!
How are they still reviewing that? It's not even close. He was down.
It's really not. But the face mask is a big deal. I would love for that to be enforced some other way than half the distance to the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he really doesn't get penalized for that.
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, they give them a first down, so if it's like 4th and 1 and they do it, then it's a big deal. But
So,
he's already getting the first down.
But where did you put it? Quit talking to Derek Mason.
Hey,
they're never going to stop talking to Derek Mason. But with that, we can pause and ask another question. Let's go ahead and go through and see, brothers, how your Christmas was. JB, how was your Christmas?
my Christmas was wonderful. I went back home to Arkansas, the Holy Land, and right, and got to see my family, my mom and dad, and stepmom, and stepsisters and brothers, and
your whole family,
nieces and nephews, all of them, man. I've got 4 nieces and nephews. My sister has 4 kids. Bless her heart. And
busy household, huh?
Yeah, man. Every time we go, though, my daughter has the best time, though. So it's like, this is actually the 4th time I've gone to Arkansas in 2 months. So yeah, it's been because it's my sister got married, and so we had her shower, and then we had her wedding, and then we had Thanksgiving, then we had Christmas. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that all happened, and it was a good time. I got some good presents. Yeah, and
what'd you get?
What did I get?
What'd you get? Let's hear it.
Me being the 33-year-old old man that I am, I got a Nintendo Classic that's loaded with 30 old school games, and including Mario and 1, 2, and 3, and Zelda, and all the good stuff.
Okay.
And also got a Sega Genesis flashback with Sonic. Huh?
That was my first console.
Oh, really? That was
Genesis.
The Sega Genesis.
Nice.
Yeah, I used to play the Genesis.
I love the Genesis, man. But man, this thing's got all the Mortal Kombats and all the Sonic the Hedgehogs and everything, man. It's awesome. So yeah, I've been having a good time with that. So
cool deal.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Rob, how was your Christmas?
It was good, man. It was kind of small. We didn't really. It was just my parents and me. My oldest brother was in Florida with his wife's family, and my other brother was, I don't know where he was. And then my cousin's family was supposed to come over, but one of their kids got sick, so it was
ended up being harder than planned.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as exciting, but it was relaxing, which was nice. So
sure.
I don't know. I mean, it was. You want to have more of your family there, but sometimes it's kind of like, you don't have the craziness of it all. So
yeah.
So in some ways, it's good too.
So what'd you get?
So as y'all know, about a month ago, I got early present. Got my Apple Watch. That was my main thing. And then other than that, mainly just like clothes. I got a new Under Armour duffel bag, real big one to carry all my clothes in, because I needed a little bit bigger one for times when I go on. Well, when I don't have a house to live in, and I'm coming to stay here, like I've been here for a little while with my parents, so I've just got a lot with me. So having a bag, a little bigger bag would help, but probably should have pulled out the suitcase, but I didn't. So that's in a nutshell what I got.
Well, cool deal,
But,
man.
how was
deal.
yours, Ashton?
I had a great Christmas. I got so much stuff, but more than that, I got to spend it with my whole family. We always pile up at my grandma's and spend pretty much the whole day splitting wood for the fire that evening. So that was less fun.
Nice.
But the fire was fun, and the fireworks that go with that, and opening presents. It was a cool deal. I got a Google Home Mini, and we used that at my grandma's house to have a dance party with the kids. We played Baby Shark over and over, and all
Oh my gosh,
doing their little dance, and it was awesome. Yeah, Christmas morning I got a Skylar Bible, so yeah, I'm sitting high on the hog, and I got a straight razor, man. I'm gonna plug some companies here, so y'all get ready. Vintage Gentleman is a website I think everybody it's unbelievable. The stuff is kind of high priced, but I think worth it. The straight razor is more than worth it, man. It's pretty awesome, and I'm bad at it, but learning. So let's fingers crossed and praying that I don't cut my neck or something. So
sorry, man. Baylor just scored.
Man, I can't get it to pull up anymore. Like, for some reason, my internet's going crazy.
Long play, but side note: when my brother was in Afghanistan, he had an Afghan. He shave him with a straight blade, which was would have been terrifying.
Sure.
Somebody you don't know if you can trust is shaving you with a straight blade. That's like, that's okay. But
probably the best shape he ever got.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine. It was probably a friendly over there, but
So did you actually see the play that they scored on? What happened there?
So they started from their own 20, pass over the middle to the right hash mark, and then just got touched like once and ran it all the way in.
Oh, I'm seeing it now. Safety took a really, really bad angle there.
He got a hand tackle that wasn't even a hand tackle, and it was like two-hand touch. Nobody else touched him.
No, he didn't even touch him. Looking at the replay now.
Looked like he two-hand touched him, but
man, took a really bad angle and got burnt.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and chalk this one up to two teams that are not super great. So another thing that I want to say is, even if Vanderbilt wins this game, like, this isn't representative of the SEC.
No.
They
not at all.
600 yards to Baylor, and Baylor has given up 500 to Vandy. I mean, this is not representative of the majority of SEC football. I mean, if you go Mississippi State up, like, the defenses are so high caliber that this is kind of sad. Like, the only thing that you could compare this to is maybe the LSU A&M game, where it took them how many 11 periods to score all of that. 4 quarters.
Yeah, so 11 total.
So, yeah. And in regulation, the team scored 31. So this is not representative of SEC football, even if Vanderbilt wins the game.
Yeah.
Just wanted to lay that little caveat.
That's
Go
true.
ahead and cover our bases. Or when Baylor wins this game on some convoluted, who knows what.
Vandy doesn't play like a traditional.
Vanderbilt should still
anyway.
win. I'm still confident in that pick. But quick question: while Vanderbilt is attempting to drive down the field, what is the game that you're most excited for this bowl season, JB? And it can't be a semifinal game. Like, it has to be a regular, meaningless bowl game.
Alrighty then. To be honest, I'm really excited about Well, I can't say excited, but I do want to watch the LSU and UCF game because I want to see LSU beat the living crap out of UCF. But that's not really. I'm not really excited to watch that because LSU doesn't have an offense, so they're not fun to watch.
Okay, you're talking about a team that put up 72 on A&M. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, in 7 overtimes. But I think
they put up more than 30 on Georgia, beat them by more than 20, and they've scored 30 plus like 4 or 5 times this season. So
yeah, I think
having offense is just not true.
they didn't. They just didn't show up at a couple of games, but it's fine. I think
Alabama? Are we talking about Alabama and Mississippi State, which are the 2 best defenses in the SEC? Like,
why couldn't y'all score against Arkansas in the last half of the game, man? That's ridiculous.
Okay.
We suck.
Okay.
We're terrible.
Okay, that's a fair criticism, but let's go ahead and throw this out there. LSU is entitled to do poorly against our Arkansas. It happens every year.
That's true. It's like Oklahoma losing to Texas early in the year. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, or Texas losing to Maryland, or Ohio State losing to Purdue, right? But
that's not a big rivalry, though. Like, it's not the same thing. Come on, man.
I know. I was just trying to.
If Ohio State lost to Michigan when Michigan was trash, that would make sense.
Yeah,
or vice versa.
It would.
Now, I'll tell you what I am looking forward to, and I know Rob's gonna. I mean, Texas and Georgia. That's just another one that I want to see somebody lose. But and y'all know who that is. But really, though, the ones that I'm looking forward to. Huh?
You want to see Georgia lose that bad?
No, come on, man. You know I hate Texas.
I know.
But honestly, though, the Florida and Michigan game, I'm ready to see Florida finally snap that losing streak against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And Kentucky, I'm looking forward to seeing them show everybody how overrated Penn State is. So,
okay.
Even if they lose, they're going to play them hard, and it's going to be funny.
So let me put it this way: you have satellite for 1 4-hour period throughout the next 2 weeks. What game are you watching? Can't be a semifinal game.
For 1 4-hour period.
Which game are you most looking forward to watching? Which game is highest?
Well, I just didn't want to steal Rob's thunder, but it's definitely Texas and Georgia.
Okay.
Hands down.
What about you, Rob?
So, unlike you, Ashton, I actually care about my own team's game. So, the Sugar Bowl.
Okay. All right. Let's address the elephant in the room. Brought in on a leash. Yeah. So I don't care to have Fiesta Bowl banners on my stadium. Right. The Fiesta Bowl is meaningless. I get paid either way. It doesn't matter. I get to go. The sponsors don't care who wins.
Wait, you get paid?
The school. Yeah. The school gets paid. It doesn't really matter whether they win or lose. The only thing that matters kind of is whether LSU gets a 10-win season, which they should have already had. Should have beat A&M. I'm still bitter about that. But yeah. Oh, Vanderbilt.
Well, let's go ahead and put a pin in the only thing that matters and say that putting UCF to shame is also important.
Tell that to Auburn.
Well, Auburn failed last year because Auburn didn't care.
And that's my point. The games are meaningless.
Auburn did Auburn things.
The Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, it's all meaningless. And Kevin Briggins can get mad at me for saying that all he wants, but that doesn't change the fact that Auburn was playing flat because they didn't care, right? Teams.
But is LSU going to do that? Who knows?
They might. They might. And that's why I'm not super confident about LSU winning. And it's also why I'm not super excited about the game. Like, LSU has the talent and the ability to blow this team out. And I'm always excited to see LSU play, right? That's not what I'm saying either. What I'm saying is LSU in basically any other conference, save maybe the Big Ten, is playing in the college football playoff. And that's the caliber of team that this is. And Georgia's the same way. In basically any other conference, they're competing in the college football playoff, and instead they get a Cotton Bowl bid, right? So it's not so much that the game itself is this huge slap in the face. It's that your season was a disappointment because the week 2 loss means that much, right?
Well, I think you meant to say a Sugar Bowl bid. I would love to get a Cotton Bowl bid. That would mean we'd be in the playoffs.
Sugar Bowl, yeah, Sugar Bowl.
They rotate so much; it's hard to keep track.
It doesn't make any sense. But yeah.
It's a money thing, man.
It is a money thing, but the games really are meaningless. Like it makes for some fun football, but the majority of the rest of it, like the players don't even get up to play, and that's what we've said for a year now, right? Auburn didn't win that game because they didn't care about that game. Well, if the game means so much, then why didn't Auburn care?
I never said they meant anything. I just like to watch the games.
Well, yeah, it's entertaining, but the games are ultimately meaningless.
Yeah, but I mean, all the games are ultimately meaningless, though. Like even the national championship game is ultimately meaningless, man. We're a Christian group. We know that.
Okay, come on.
That's not what I'm talking about, and you know it. What I'm talking about is there's no stakes. It's like, hey, you got a Fiesta.
Such a cheap shot, JB.
Wait, Jesus.
Just saying. I mean, you're gonna say that they're meaningless. Yeah, they're all meaningless, man.
They are, except the national championship determines who sits atop the pile of meaninglessness, right? if you win the Fiesta Bowl, like, congrats, man. You still aren't national champions. And congratulations, you beat a team who you could have played in the middle of the season, and it didn't matter. Like, the only thing that matters is you get it. Here's a paycheck. A paycheck that you would have got whether you won or lost, right? Maybe it's slightly bigger if you win, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that's just a different outlook from somebody who's been watching his team lose for 33 years.
33 years.
I know.
Aaron McFadden in that time.
I know. We went to a Sugar Bowl a few years ago. We've had some good teams here, but we've been on the cusp of national championship 3 times in my life, and we always find a way to screw it up, like at the very end of the season. But right. I mean, so I'm used to losing, and so like I don't really find the joy of saying, oh, I mean, I know we're never going to compete for a national championship, or maybe we will, but I don't really care at this point because I've never seen it happen. So whatever.
All right. Let me tell you a really sad story. All right, I'm 20 years old, but I really got to be a big fan about 2009, 2006, 2009. In that
when you were 5?
In that time frame, yeah, when I was 5. But in that time frame, I started really enjoying NFL football, right? The big Saints fan. I saw the Saints win the Super Bowl. In 2009, I also saw the LSU Tigers win the College World Series, and that's when I started really getting to be a big LSU fan, right? Then, the first national championship I cared anything about, LSU has to play Alabama twice, right? It's the only one I've ever cared about. And then there's that awful debacle with Jordan Jefferson and Jarrett Lee and who starts, and I don't want to get into it, but that was depressing. And then the next championship LSU competes for is against Florida in the College World Series, right? And it's a big deal. It's like, yes, I get to watch this happen, and we get swept in the College World Series final. Like, it's I almost think that it's better to just lose than to get to the national championship game and not win it. Like, it's like going to the Super Bowl and not winning it. It's like, great job, man. The only thing you accomplished is a late draft pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's true.
And you get a big a harder schedule next year in the NFL.
Yeah, but what'd you say that?
I said I wouldn't say that's true about college basketball, but I see your point.
But LSU sucks at college basketball, so we haven't had that problem in basketball.
No, you were talking about from sports to sport. That's why I said that.
Oh yeah, but
not speaking of LSU specifically, just talking about you were saying from sport to sport, and I think that's if you go to the national championship in basketball, then you beat a lot of teams to get there, and so that's a huge accomplishment. But
maybe that's fun, but like, with LSU, at least they're consistent. Like I'm okay with it. Like, I know we suck. I know we're not the best team. Like, it's cool. Like, I expect them to go out there and to lose most of their games. Like, it's fine. I don't care. But when I expect them to win the games, it hurts that much more, right? When I expect them to win the national championship because we're there, then it hurts that much more when it's ripped away. And like there hasn't been that satisfaction since LSU played Texas in the College World Series.
You're talking to a Kentucky basketball fan, dude. Trust me.
Well, you've seen them win championships that you cared about, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but I don't. Okay, so they won in what 98, and then here recently. But like the one I remember the most was the most recent one, and so now every year it's like, will the
was John Wall on that team?
no, he didn't win one, which was ridiculous.
You know who else didn't win one? Shaq. Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Like
Pete Maravich.
Man, it hurts. It hurts. Even when we're good, we can't win.
And you know, I'm a Georgia basketball fan first. I'm a Georgia fan first, but when you know that, like Kentucky, you know that they have the talent. Like John Wall at Kentucky, that group, they should have won a national championship. That was ridiculous.
Lying, man. Yeah.
So you're feeling my pain here. Like
that team was unbelievable.
It's
you remember that?
To accept
you remember that we went like,
okay, my team sucks, right?
Kentucky should have been the first team ever to go 40-0.
Was Anthony Davis on that team?
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, I remember now.
Are you serious? You've got two of the
best players in the NBA right now. Yeah.
Well, Anthony Davis for sure. John Wall.
Yeah.
I think
John Wall.
He's
team, like, yeah.
He needs to go somewhere besides the Wizards, but I mean, you got Anthony Davis. How you losing anything? Anthony Davis is a freak.
Especially in college, man. A dude like that, yeah.
Dude, he's dominating the NBA.
I know. I know.
You what?
I know basketball. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, it's tied 38.
I'm trying so hard to watch it.
Ashton,
man.
Full disclosure, Pistol Pete is my basketball hero.
Dude, he's my hero.
I'm not an LSU fan. He's my basketball hero.
I don't even know basketball, but the dude could shoot, I think, with anybody.
Anybody. When I need inspiration, I watch the movie that is based on his and I've got mine's called the Inspirational Edition. Hey, same movie, it just sounds better.
We're going to play Everybody Love LSU basketball today because my all-time favorite player ever is Shaq. So
heck yeah, man. Well, Shaq's a good guy. Like
I love
Shaq. Shaq is hilarious,
and he has a doctorate in, I think, child education or something. Like he could go be a professor teaching high school teachers, but he's a cop also, and he accepts $1 a year salary because he has to be salaried, and he owns 12 different businesses. Like the dude single-handedly has had more effect on the economy than probably my town. Like, yeah. dude's just great at everything, and he's a fantastic rapper.
Dude, I love when he oh my gosh.
I've got one of his albums. No.
I love when he and Charles Barkley go back and forth with each other. That's hilarious. Just two of them just talking back and forth. But do we have any more questions?
You are about to get caught up with what I just saw. Sorry.
I think. I heard you saying no, but
let me look at the questions real quick.
Yeah,
I'm guessing Baylor scored based on his.
Yeah, just watch.
You know what? Forget it. I'm going to the game cast.
I'm watching it, but
my phone is being ridiculous.
Okay, so since this is
you gotta be kidding me.
I told you, man.
What? That's almost the same play as last time when they scored. It's just not as far.
Wait, did the safety miss a tackle again?
Who missed the tackle this time? It was over the middle again, so it was either the corner or the safety.
Ain't no way, man.
It was almost the same play.
That's unbelievable.
And almost the exact same result to the right side of the field.
All right, two-minute drill. 2-minute drill. Let's go, Vandy. Anchor down.
Got your questions up, Freddie.
All right, I'm ready for
I
them.
haven't even looked at the pick'em, JB. The confidence pick'em. That's the only one I did, and I don't want to look at it. Probably.
Well,
Yeah, I don't want
I
to look
haven't
at
done
it.
pick 'em since the LSU Alabama game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think you might have thrown yourself out of contention.
I did.
Um,
I was done. Like I'm
Yeah.
not.
Oh
picking-
no, I'm just talking about. I did the one on ESPN.
You did the confidence picks?
Yeah.
That was hard, man.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah,
try that much. There's too many for confidence, so I just
40 something games.
I literally just threw like a few together in certain areas, and the rest of them I was like, forget it. I'll get lucky.
We'll see what happens.
I put Georgia and Texas at 41 or whatever the highest number was.
I gave that a big one, yeah. So,
all right, so let's hear the questions.
Okay. First of all, I want to throw this out there because y'all are both in the same group now because Rob joined the other day.
Yeah.
So I
Stay tuned on that one.
I did a country poll, and I specifically said it's got to be male country singers prior to 1990, right? Like they have to have a single that was prior to 1990. They keep putting Taylor Swift on there over and over and over again, and I keep deleting it every time.
You know what you should say? You should tag everybody who does that and say, "Look what you made me do."
What was she like? 3 years old in 1990?
Was she 3? Was she alive in 1990?
I don't think
yes.
Hey is an 80s baby for sure.
She was late 80s. Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm positive because I know she's older than I am, and I was born in 91.
Okay, so she might have been born. So she might have been born in 1990 then.
No, I'm pretty sure she was born in like 89.
It's crazy to me to think
that's possible because I think she had an album called 1989, so that's probably true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is ridiculous. I did add Alabama, but that is, in my defense, prior to 1990.
I was right. Oh, wow. December 13, 89.
It's not a solo artist.
Yeah. Hey,
not
December 13 of 89.
That's unbelievable. Okay. So she's like the least 80s baby that an 80s baby can be.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. So anyway, Kyle Warnock says, do the suspensions actually hurt Bama and Clemson's chances in the games, or will it not even make a difference?
Okay. Before we go into that, who was suspended for Clemson? I didn't see that. I only saw the Bama suspensions.
I've got you. I'm looking it up. Clemson suspension.
As far as Alabama, I think not because two of their guys are irrelevant. Based on what I saw, they had one guy that has barely played, one guy that never comes off, like never plays, and then they have one starter who has a guy who has started multiple games but not every game, and they've got enough guys for one guy. They've got enough guys. That's not a position where they're hurting. You know, if it were like in the secondary, then I would say it would probably hurt them. But they've got like linemen for days.
Are you talking about
Alabama?
Alabama? Okay. So Clemson's defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence, tight end Braden Galloway, and offensive lineman Zach Gila has been in doubt ever since news service this week that their A samples of an NCAA-administered drug test revealed trace amounts of something or other, which I guess is illegal. The NCAA informed Clemson on Thursday that the B samples produced the same result, and the trio will miss Saturday's game. So Dexter Lawrence, I believe, is a starter for.
Did y'all see what? I don't remember who was posted. It say, did the Pope start those tests? That was great, man. That was a good one.
That was awesome.
But since they're playing Notre Dame, but I don't know much about their individual players. I know Trevor Lawrence, but I don't really know.
Well, let's look up. I'm going to look up this dude Dexter Lawrence because everybody at the beginning of the season was saying that Clemson had the best defensive line in the country. Their front four was the best in the country. They're this great defensive line. So I'm going to look him up, Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, I think their defensive line is good. I wouldn't say best in the country, but
no, I don't think their defensive line even competes with like Mississippi State. Like Their defensive line is good, but not best in the country level. Well, let's see.
While we're waiting, I'll move on to the next question.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, he's a projected first rounder, so he is a starter.
Okay.
Dexter Lawrence missing on the defensive side of the football is going to hurt Clemson.
Okay.
What do you think about Georgia with DeAndre Baker missing? Sitting out, rather. It's his choice. But as he's going to be a top 15, but potentially a top 10 draft pick, he's sitting out the game.
If they were playing somebody like with a better offense than Texas, I would say it was going to be a big deal because he's a quarterback, right?
Corner, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if they were playing like Oklahoma or or even even Oklahoma State has a better offense than Texas. I mean, there's some in West Virginia. If they were playing West Virginia, Oklahoma State, I'd say it would really hurt them. But I think they're still going to put it on Texas. So
I think we've got some DB, a DB or two behind him that'll step up. It's not going to hurt us too much to have him out. It's just he's the guy that offenses all year have avoided going to his side of the field. They basically one-sided just to avoid him. But that doesn't mean we still got talent. So I think
they're not going to get burned by Ellinger. So
see, I'm not positive. I think that Ellinger is a good enough quarterback to make a team pay. Now, will he? That's a different question, right? He's one of those hot and cold quarterbacks, right? When he's hot, he's good, but when he's not, he's very, very average, very pedestrian. So I don't know necessarily that this hurts Georgia, but I do want to go ahead and point out that the game is so important that this corner says it's not important enough for him to play in.
Hey, I got a question for you about that later. My thing about Ellinger, though, like what you said, he is hot and cold. But I think when he faces a defense like he hasn't faced before, he's probably going to crack under pressure. I mean, because he hasn't seen anything like this before.
And this is a bigger stage than he's played on, so there is all that.
Absolutely. So here's a question from our homeboy Kevin Briggins. He says, if no one cares about bowl games, why were so many people upset about one being canceled?
So is that a question directed at me?
Probably.
Okay, then I'll answer. I just want to go ahead and point out that I am upset about it, not because bowl games matter, but because like those people canceled plans with their families around Christmas. Like that's cheap. They didn't even reschedule the game. They just canceled it. Like these people wanted to see their teams play and brought their families with them to this game, and they canceled it after 10 minutes of play. Like that's plane tickets, hotel reservations. Even if they get refunded their tickets, like they're still out thousands and thousands of dollars probably per person. And
they're getting refunded.
They're getting refunded for hotel rooms and everything?
Oh, no. I thought you meant – sorry, for tickets they are.
Even if they – even with
compared to everything that they've spent, yeah.
So with a postponement, I mean, there's at least a silver lining here. But mostly I'm not upset about it because the memes are amazing. Because this is the first Super Bowl, and they get canceled because of rain. Like that's –
Well, and you're not upset about it because it's pointless.
Well, right. Yeah, I don't think that the game bore any real significance other than it was a way to pass the time on a Wednesday, Thursday? I don't know. But I do think that it was cheap, and I think the NCAA has problems here, right? And there's the little part about wronging the fans. That's what I'm most upset about, not the game itself. The game didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, and the fans, the sponsors, the schools, it's just a big ordeal, man. Like, I'm sure they have to refund a lot of the money to the sponsors, And then if that's the case, then the schools aren't getting money. So it's just and the kids that went there to play the game, they put all their time and effort into like all the practice that they put in over the last month for nothing, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to make them better next year, but still,
the seniors don't care.
Yeah, the seniors don't care.
They're done. They're done.
Yeah.
And that's cheap. It's cheap to promise a player a game and then not deliver on that game, and it's cheap to promise fans a product and then not deliver that product. And it's like, okay, yeah, you get your money back, but you've lost time with your family around Christmas, and you've lost plane money, you've lost hotel money, you've lost food money, you've lost all kinds of things because this game hasn't been played. Like, it's just thrown away now. It didn't matter. You just took a vacation in what is it, Dallas, which is everybody's favorite vacation spot, right? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm not upset that they canceled the game itself. The game itself is inconsequential.
But it matters to a lot of people for different reasons.
Right. So I'm upset for the fans, not for the game itself. Like, the game didn't matter. Like, who's writing home about the first responder bowl banner that gets to hang on the stadium?
Boise State fans.
We need DJ to talk about that. But okay, let's.
I would like to get him on here to talk about the non big Power 5 bowl games and how what they do mean to them at some point. But
that would be interesting. Yeah, that's fair. But let's move on to the next question. Unless y'all have something else to add.
No.
Go ahead, Rob. Got it. The only other question of worth was Aaron White asked if Kelly Bryant was going to Arkansas, and that ship has sailed. Vishy's question, we've already responded to that earlier about Baylor, the consequences of Baylor beating a bad team.
Are you sure you said his name right?
Yeah, Vishy. It's Vishy.
I remember everybody was like, I always say it this way, and I don't remember if it was on the Tavern or B&B, but
I think it was on B&B. Yeah,
I just remember everybody who was like,
okay, so that score is final. Baylor 45, Vandy 38.
38.
A one-score ball game. Vandy fought valiantly, but they didn't care on defense, so they lost. And so that's one for the 12.
Yep, there you go. There's the only other question on here that was that. Anyway, Kevin Briggins also asked, can there be made an argument that Notre Dame has the better quarterback in the matchup with Clemson?
I mean, look at the stats. I'm willing to make any argument. I don't care how zany it is if I think it's right. So just going to throw that out there.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a stud, man. I don't know, but
let's also consider that Trevor Lawrence wasn't even the starter
going into the season,
right? So he wasn't even the best quarterback on the roster.
Well, he was. He won the starting job over Kelly Bryant. That's why Kelly Bryant transferred.
Maybe, but like talent-wise, I don't know that he's a better quarterback than Kelly Bryant.
Well, yeah, not right now, but he's a true freshman. Dabo made a gutsy call, giving him the ball like up front like that, because he's basically making a call based on his talent and the future of what could be with him, and it's worked out for him so far. I mean, but yeah, I mean, you're right though. I mean, he was not the better quarterback when he was made the starter over Kelly Bryant. I mean, he was not the seasoned, tried and true quarterback that's going to win the big games in the long run, which this is a big game against Notre Dame. So you might have a point there. I mean, I don't know what the Notre Dame's quarterback, if he what year he is.
I'm looking on 24/7 Sports now. It's pulling up.
He's a junior.
Okay. Do you have any stats to compare?
162.5 passer rating, 19 touchdowns. Yeah. 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 2,400 yards. What's his completion?
North of 60 for sure. Like that's with that rating, we're looking
190, 197 divided by 28. It's it's going to be north of 60. So then there's CBS doesn't show the passer rating for some stupid reason.
and
Trevor Lawrence has a 154 passer rating, but the big kicker with him, he's got 24 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions.
only 4 picks.
His ratio is outrageous. Like,
do we have numbers on rushing? So what I'm saying is, like, fumbles need to be factored in too. Who has more fumbles? They're both dual threat guys.
Yeah. Too bad CBS doesn't really give much as far as stats goes. Not the app, at least. Anyway, I mean, they're both good quarterbacks. I think that's the first time I've ever looked at stats on Notre Dame's quarterback. So with him being a junior and having more season in him, you could probably make that case.
Yeah. Notre Dame football stats. For some reason, like, I'm not finding anything solid. Okay, here's Sports Reference. Sports Reference is the best website. Rob, are you going to weigh in here?
I don't have anything on beyond what y'all have said. Sounds good. I don't really pay attention to Notre Dame, to be honest. So,
okay,
because they're papists, man.
Ian Book has a completion percentage of 70.4. That's unbelievable. Yeah. That's like Kellen Moore type passer accuracy with 2,400 yards, 2,468, with 19 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So he's only got 2 more picks than the what's his name, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but 7 fewer touchdowns, right?
5 fewer.
5 fewer.
Okay.
So it's quite a big difference on the ratio anyway. So
okay. And he's got 78 rushing attempts for 250 yards. That works itself out to an average of 3.2 per carry, 4 touchdowns, and somehow I'm not seeing any fumbles. I don't think that they record fumbles. Yeah. Not seeing it. So I don't know. I think that the quarterback battle is going to be fun to watch. Like, this has gotten me excited for that quarterback battle.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin Briggins, for bringing that to our attention.
Fun stuff. So yeah, I think Notre Dame might have the better quarterback here. I don't know.
Yeah, at least for now.
Of course, I don't think that he's a tall guy, and that might make a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. In book. I'm
sure the people who are watching are loving how we're just making this up on the fly.
Right.
The 2 people that are watching.
And
Sam,
one of Kevin. So hi, Kevin.
Kevin, Sam, and Kyle. We have 3 actually. So.
Hey, now that's awesome. But come on, Sam and Kyle. Let's get some interaction. Ask some pointed questions. But yeah, Ian's only 6 foot tall, so you have the danger of batted passes and things like that. And I'm sure that that's why the interceptions have happened in higher numbers than Trevor Lawrence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't see either of these kids panning out in the NFL. And it's the same thing that I've said previously. I still think Jake Fromm, Will Grier, those types of quarterbacks do better in the NFL in the long run. You do have your odd Michael Vick, who does incredible in the NFL, but he's the exception rather than the rule. So, yeah.
A lot of the NFL teams are going to the RPO now, though. So,
yeah, they are. They are, but if you notice, they're not doing that necessarily with dual threat quarterbacks.
That's true. Yeah.
They're doing that with guys, like Cam Newton, who has more and more been a pocket passer throughout the duration of his career. Deshaun Watson has done the same thing. He's become more and more a pocket passer. Gosh, I can't think of any quarterback names other than Drew.
But the guys that work, guys like that, they can use their feet when they need to, and that's kind of what they're looking for.
Right. But even Matt Ryan and Tom Brady have lived and died the previous years with the RPO. So these are the most immobile quarterbacks in the league, and they're still killing folks on the RPO. So I don't necessarily think that lends itself per se to dual threat guys, although it can be run by dual threat guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that's all, I don't know what else to say.
Real quick, I'm gonna ask y'all, since Ashton, you were not here for our Christmas special, I've got one.
No, I was not.
I've got one Christmas question for y'all, and y'all get to answer this. What is y'all's favorite Christmas tradition that you do every year? Just one tradition.
One tradition. Rob, you want to go ahead?
I can't really think of much. I mean, for the longest time, it was, we'd open a present on Christmas Eve. But I mean, like, that's less and less exciting every year because I'm 27. It's not like I can't wait for stuff it's not the reason why. So I don't know. We don't really have a whole lot of traditions per se. So it's kind of hard for me to really say something. Like I said, if you'd asked me when I was, 10, 15 years ago, that's probably what I would have said. But we just kind of do our thing. We don't really have many traditions that we do, I guess.
Right. So no consistency and nothing exciting. All right. Christmas in the new house. But
okay, you just made that sound a lot worse, but
it's all good.
Easily, my favorite tradition is going to my grandma's on Christmas Eve, and everybody piles up. We all day long. We wait for it to get dark. We make a big fire out in the yard, shoot off fireworks, and then everybody comes in and opens presents, and nobody leaves until 9 or 10 o'clock. Like it's just an all day affair, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. So we used to do more. We used to do different things with family, more like the extended family. But the problem is, since certain deaths have happened with my grandfather, and earlier this year with my aunt and uncle, and there's different deaths that have made it harder we haven't been as good about always making certain things happen.
Yeah.
Because certain people in the family, like my grandmother years ago, well, she was actually technically my great aunt, but I always knew her as grandmother because she raised my mom.
Right.
She was, she did a lot of the she'd call everybody up, she'd organize everything, and so it's just it takes more work now. So I think it's just like we used to go do this one thing. On Christmas Eve we'd go visit with this part of the family, and Christmas so we had our kind of traditions, but they've kind of fallen off since certain people have died, and it's kind of hard to kind of keep up with that. So, and like I said, most recently my aunt and uncle died back in February. So, in a car wreck. So it kind of just, I guess that's why it was hard for me to kind of come up with something, because we haven't really. That was probably to me my favorite thing for so long was just spending time with extended family, with outside of my immediate family. So
sure.
But
Sure. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, things change. It used to be that everybody would pile up at my great grandma's house, and now everybody piles up at my grandma's house on Christmas Eve. So, yeah, things change, and pretty much for the same reasons. So, I definitely get that.
yeah, we're trying to, change it up, but it just after with each new death, I guess, comes kind of more uncertainty of how we're gonna, other people have to start planning things, and other people have to like. It just definitely changes things, so makes it harder.
For sure. For sure. But yeah, I'm very good at making things sound worse than they are. So
No, you
when
weren't
I see an
offending me or
opportunity,
anything.
when I see an opportunity, I have to.
Yeah, if we talk to you for too long, you would think that Clemson is like the worst team in college football.
No.
Yeah, this is the way you make them seem. So
and with James, it's Kentucky.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
The same team.
That is a point you made earlier.
Staying with the narrative. I get it. I like
They're
it.
the same team.
And
And I've been right about all of my predictions. Right when Clemson played the common opponent, I said, "Hey, Kentucky beat these guys by what was it, like 14?" And I think Clemson's home field advantage is a little bit better, so I take Clemson by 21.
Too bad your overall pick'em wasn't the same.
Well, I was gonna start doing better, I think, but I got depressed, so I was like,
but they also played another common opponent in A&M, and Clemson beat A&M, and Kentucky lost. So.
It was the same game.
Huh?
It was the same game. One went into overtime, and the other was a 2-point game. Like it was the same way, right?
Yeah.
Like Clemson got out of there luckily, right? They got lucky with A&M missing the 2-point conversion. Kentucky, it just fell a different way, right? And overtime, I think A&M wins that game against Clemson.
Oh, I think so too. But you're talking about a Clemson the first game of the year versus Clemson now. It's a completely different team.
They're still the same team as Kentucky.
All right. Anyway, JB,
except Kentucky doesn't have a quarterback. But anyway,
what's your favorite tradition?
My favorite tradition, the Sunday school answer would be the going to see my family, or going back to Arkansas, or the Disney princess ornament that I give my daughter every year. Those would be the Sunday school answers, but I'm going to give you the selfish answer. It's not really a selfish answer. It's just a sentimental thing that I do every year. And I did it with my family growing up. And now that my wife doesn't really care for it, I do it by myself most of the time. Except when our kids get a little bit older, we're going to start doing it as a family. But, my wife goes to bed early and I do. Anyway, It's a Wonderful Life, man. I have to watch that every single year. And I swear, every time I watch it, I cry my eyes out. Like, it hits me in the feels every single time.
Boy, that's
and that's just like the movie. Yeah, I love it. It's a great story. They don't make stuff like that anymore. We need more George Baileys in the world. Have y'all seen It's a Wonderful Life?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Ashton.
I know, I'm the worst.
You are the worst.
I do want to point out that I was correct. A&M only didn't go into overtime because they missed a 2-point conversion.
They missed a 2-point conversion.
They were one play from the same exact result as the Kentucky game. They're the same game.
Anyway, you need to see It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, you do. For
All
sure.
right. I will watch it, but I think that Kentucky would win the ACC.
if you like swapped?
If you
Kentucky
swapped them,
Clemson?
There's wins the ACC. There's no question there.
And
who are they going to?
East to
Syracuse? They're going to play against Syracuse, and that's it.
No, that's not
The
that's not
Orangemen.
what I'm saying. Also, what I'm saying is Clemson loses the East to Georgia. That happens.
Well, yeah, but so did Kentucky.
They're the same team. Clemson loses the East to Georgia. They have a great season, sure, right? The best in Kentucky's history. But expect Clemson loses the East to Georgia.
Hold on. So does that mean if you reverse them, Kentucky's number 2 right now?
Yes, because they'd be overrated for winning the ACC.
So does that mean we should get rid of automatic bids?
No.
Oh.
Hold on then.
No.
So you're saying it's okay to have an overrated team in?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Notre Dame's in there.
No. I don't like automatic bids whatsoever.
That's fine. I disagree. I want 32 teams, so lots of automatic bids.
Yeah, you can't have automatic bids in a 14 playoff system anyway. So I mean, the point is moot. So,
right, but I'm saying even if you expand it, I don't like automatic bids.
Well, I don't understand that. Like the group of best team in group of 5, right? According to like the FPI, or the BCS would get in, and the 5 Power 5 winners. Like that should be the case. Because there's relative parity.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there, and I've said it before multiple times. I like automatic bids because you really don't know if the best team in this conference is better than the best team in this conference until they actually play each other. I don't care if they've lost 1 game or if they lost 5 games. You don't know if they're better until they settle it on the field.
It's absolutely true.
Because they don't play the same teams. They don't have any common opponents.
Point with Ohio State.
Okay.
So nobody knows that Oklahoma really is a better team than Ohio State.
Yeah.
No, nobody knows that. And now Urban Meyer doesn't get a chance to have his team play for him for his last season, right? Ohio State probably runs the table if his team is allowed in, because let's win one for the Gipper, right? That's what this would be. But no, we don't get that because the week 5 loss means more than the week 12 win, right? Which is ridiculous to me. That's unbelievable. But automatic bids are a good thing, right? The 5 conference winners should be able to duke it out as the top 5 seeds in a 32-team bracket. With that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this show up. I had fun, gentlemen, and I hope y'all did too. Parting thoughts.
It's been a fun cast. It's a different change, honestly, of not having any kind of format and just kind of spitballing.
Yeah,
but the 3 people that watched this basically got to witness 3 friends just shooting the bull together.
Yeah,
and talking about sports and watching sports and looking at stats on phone, like in real time. Yeah. So they basically just got to walk into a bar and witness the conversation.
Pretty much that's what happened. A little less slurring going on, but that's pretty accurate.
But it's been fun. I like it. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if nothing else, then brothers and sisters, remember, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. And we will happily see you in the pub. Good night, everybody.
The pub.